China only recently stepped on to gain significant geopolitical influence under current President Xi Jinping. That inexperience left China relatively naive in the field of global geopolitics and unfamiliar with the historical nuances of and between countries far from its neighborhood. China has been compensating for the lack of in-depth knowledge with robust financing and commercial strength. Trade and investment ties, and flexibility in credit lines, accelerated China's entry into the ranks of influential powers overseas. However, given China's historical context, this economic influence has not necessarily translated into concrete political and geopolitical influence. Tehran saw in China an opportunity to reshape its foreign trade, as the Western market has been closed to Iran for decades. China has offered Iran generous lines of credit that are paid through exports of barrels of oil at below market prices. This is not the first time Iran has engaged in military trade with China. This cooperation can be traced back to the 1980s. Since then, Iran has been a stable arms customer of China. The Middle East, a region with a long history and strife, has never seemed truly peaceful. Even if there is a glimmer of reconciliation, the United States will always try to sow chaos in it. Just a few months ago, Saudi Arabia and Iran announced an agreement hailed as the Great Reconciliation of the Century. This news gave peace-loving people around the world confidence in the stability and development of the Middle East. But the United States is stuck like a nail in this reconciliation plan. While representatives of Saudi Arabia and Iran are actively engaging in dialogue under the mediation of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Pentagon is secretly preparing for a so-called special military operation against Iran. You may ask, why didn't the United States choose to take action against Saudi Arabia? The answer is actually very simple. Saudi Arabia is a wealthy country. It not only purchases a large amount of military equipment from China, but also pays a large amount of facilitation fees to the United States over the years. Saudi Arabia is rich and possesses advanced missile weapons provided by China. The United States cannot easily touch it. Iran, on the other hand, is determined not to surrender to the United States and has not given up on nuclear weapons research. This makes the Pentagon uneasy. So they decided to take measures against Iran. On July 20th, the US military officially dispatched amphibious forces into the Persian Gulf and areas surrounding Iran. Iran's national security was in jeopardy. This is not the first time the United States has violated Iran's national sovereignty this year. Just 2 months ago, the US military raided the border area between Iran and Syria, causing a large number of casualties among soldiers and seriously threatening civilian lives and property. In retaliation, Iranian and Syrian forces attacked US military bases, plunging Deir ez-Zor province and the Persian Gulf into fighting. The armed conflict 2 months ago has not completely subsided, and now the US military's brazen entry into the Persian Gulf is almost adding fuel to the fire. Although international military experts generally believe that the possibility of a large-scale war between the United States and Iran is unlikely, Iran will certainly not be willing to have its national security so completely controlled by the United States. Therefore, within Iran, a trend of using China to control the United States has gradually formed. Some political figures even suggested that the Iranian government purchased 3 big killer weapons from China that can stabilize the battlefield in the Middle East to safeguard national security. What are Iran's reasons for wanting to purchase China's sophisticated weapons? Which 3 Chinese artifacts fascinate them so much? This is not the first time Iran has engaged in military trade with China. This cooperation can be traced back to the 1980s. Since then, Iran has been a stable arms customer of China. From the Army's tanks and armored vehicles to the Navy's ships and Air Force's fighter planes, China's exports of weapons play an important role in Iran's defense against external threats and in maintaining its territorial integrity. However, the 3 Chinese artifacts Iran hopes to purchase this time are different from the past. Their power and performance far exceed conventional weapons. First of all, what is beyond the reach of the US military is the Pterosaur 3 drone. This UAV is far ahead of Iran's existing Shahed 136 UAV in terms of performance. Although the Shahed 136 is also a drone with excellent performance, it is much inferior to the Pterosaur 3. This Pterosaur 3 drone has a range of more than 10,000 kilometers and a flight altitude of 30,000 meters, with powerful performance. It can not only be used for reconnaissance, but can also undertake light bombing missions. It is even equipped with a powerful electronic jamming system, leaving the Pentagon helpless. If Iran purchases the Pterosaur 3, it will obtain unmanned reconnaissance aircraft, light bombers and electronic jamming equipment, which will weaken the dominance of the US military in the air battlefield. This will not only strengthen Iran's defense capabilities, but will also bring greater confidence to its soldiers. Another Chinese artifact is the YJ-21 anti-ship missile. This supersonic missile has excellent performance and a terminal speed of up to Mach 10. It is a threat that even the top US military ships cannot withstand. It has powerful fixed-point strike capabilities and excellent strike accuracy, surpassing the US Patriot missile. Faced with such a powerful missile, the US anti-missile system is almost impossible to withstand. Once locked by the Eagle Strike 21, the US warship may have no choice but to sink. In addition, the Eagle Strike 21 is also designed to be immune to electromagnetic interference and ground-sea coordination, giving it unparalleled strike accuracy. Its existence not only strengthens Iran's defense capabilities at sea, but also makes it more difficult for the US military to threaten Iran. The last Chinese artifact is the Dongfeng 21D ballistic missile. This missile is the world's first ballistic missile to achieve land-based mobile ultra-long-range launch, and has the capability of individual long-distance radiation strikes against groups. Its attack range covers every corner of the Middle East, making it impossible for the US military to easily attack Iran. With this missile, Iran's homeland security will be better protected.